Why do you speak?
No one's running away from you.
Speak to me.
Let's talk then.
Okay.
So
He said,
now
"Don't insult
let's
you."
ask,
He said,
answer
"I
the
didn't insult you,
question.
but I insulted
Why
this."
did Muhammad teach? Don't push. Don't push. Don't push. Don't push.
Keep your hand.
Hey, back off. Right, so let's go to the passage where Muhammad is attracted to his adopted son's
How is that
wife.
sin? How is that
Let's
sin
go
in the
to that.
Quran?
1 second.
If Allah said to him,
Let's go. Let's find
I will
it.
give you that
Let's
woman
find
as well.
it. Let's find
You're,
it.
you're crazy.
Let's
Bob, you're
find
crazy.
it. Okay, bear with us. Right. So, and then, sir, we can have a conversation. No, sorry. Allow me to reply. No, allow me to reply to what he said. You want to interject in the conversation that we were having. So allow me to finish. Right, I have my subject I want to talk to you about. Right, so here's the subject I want to talk to you about. So in Surah 43:81, Allah says that if Allah has a son, Muhammad would be the first to worship him. My question to you is, why, if Allah has a son, is he worthy of worship?
That's a good question.
قل إن كان للرحمن ولد فأنا أول العابدين. Is that it?
The question that I asked you again.
I'm quoting the verse.
Yes, but I don't speak Arabic. We're talking in English,
You
so
said it
speak in English.
I'm translating it in Arabic.
Yeah, but which is useless to me. I'm talking, I don't believe in Arabization. Answer my question. In Surah 43:81, I'll read it to you. It says, this is Allah speaking to Muhammad. Say, if Allah the Most Gracious had a son, I would be the first to worship. So my question to you is, on the back of that statement by Allah, what makes the son of Allah worthy of worship?
So you believe in that? You believe that if Allah has a son, the son is worthy to be worshipped, right?
If God the Father has a
What's the
son,
meaning of if? What's the meaning of
so answer my question.
Yeah, what's the meaning of
So I'll just state my question again.
supposition? It's supposition.
So what's the answer to my question, please?
Yes, this is my answer.
Go on, listen. I'll listen.
Yeah.
Go on, tell me your answer.
If God ordered that, then I'll be the one to follow, because my task is to obey,
Yes.
to be obedient.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But Allah did not order it.
So, okay, let me reply to that answer.
Does he have a son or not? by the way?
So
Does he have a son?
we Christians believe the Father has a son. Yes.
And his son is a partner.
Not a partner, no. But let me 1 second.
Is he God or not?
We'll do question for question if you want. Would you like to do question
Can
for
I ask you a
question?
question now? I answered you my question.
No, I want to reply to that answer, and then if you want, you can ask me a question, and let's do question. Or would you like to do it timed?
Okay.
Would you like to do it timed?
Okay.
How many? 2 minutes? 3 minutes?
No, get into the topic.
Okay. So can someone time us? 3 minutes? 3 minutes? Yeah. And make sure that the good man can see the clock so he knows when my time is out, and vice versa. So we'll just let him get it set up.
There's only has one divine essence, one nature, and that's one God. The divine divinity of Allah. There's only one divine divinity.
Right. Ready? So here's the reason why I'm asking my question. Because Allah is saying that if he had a son, that Muhammad would be the first to worship the son. Now, the thing is, one would assume that Allah would only command that which was right, and only command that which is true, and only command that which is noble. So if Allah is saying that if I had a son, I would command you to worship him, there must be some quality possessed by that son to make him worthy of worship. Otherwise, if you don't accept that logic, what you're saying is Allah is capricious and fickle, that he just simply does what he wants, and he commands things that are, he can command things that are unjust and unworthy of his command. So that means that for Allah to give the conditional statement, and I acknowledge it's conditional, and I acknowledge that the Quran does not teach that Allah has a son, but for Allah to give the conditional statement that if Allah was to have a son, that Muhammad would be the first amongst the worshippers, then that means that there is a quality possessed by the Son. No, this is my 3 minutes. Excuse me, this is my 3 minutes. This is my 3 minutes. Oh, he doesn't care.
No, I don't
so
care.
when I interrupt him, he will complain.
He just wants
When I interrupt him, he will complain.
Your question.
You agreed to a time debate. You agreed to a time debate. Act like a man, not like a child. You agreed to a time debate. Respect the conditions of the debate.
No, I agreed.
Right, so he agrees that I can interrupt him.
I agreed about the
So
question.
answer
not
the.
explain this
So
question.
what is the quality that the Son possesses that makes him worthy of worship?
What is the what?
She wasn't even listening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll state it again.
This is not polite.
Oh, suddenly
is not
it's
polite.
not polite.
No, when I
But
asked
when
you-
he interrupted, that was polite. Double standards
Don't
by
be aggressive.
Dawah
Don't
Gandhis.
be aggressive, okay?
So answer my
I said
question.
what? So, which means, come again, can I hear?
So-
can you repeat your question?
so much noise
so
here,
Be,
so-
No, no,
be
no.
Polite, be
No,
polite
no.
to me.
He accused me of explaining the question, which meant he
Yes,
heard
it's
the
taking
question.
time.
So you
taking
heard the
time.
question. But I'll state the question again.
The subject.
Okay, state the question again.
Ask your
So
question. Don't
Allah
explain the question.
states very clear. You don't dictate this debate.
And you
Allah
don't dictate it as well.
Well, exactly. So
Yes,
stop
but
trying to
you're dictator.
dictate.
But you're dictator.
So Allah states. Stop running. Allah states.
You stop running.
Allah I'm stood right here. Allah states. The more you interrupt, the longer this takes. Allah states in His Quran, if Allah had a son, Muhammad would be the first to worship him. It goes without saying that Allah would never command something unworthy of himself. So my question is, based on this conditional statement,
Yes.
that if Allah had a son, what would the son possess that would make him worthy of worship? That's the question.
Nothing.
Nothing. Right. So now you've answered my question. Let me reply to your answer. So he has said nothing. In other words, he is demonstrating that he believes in a capricious and fickle God who commands that which is unworthy of himself.
Listen to me. Wait. You said, you asked me.
Yes.
And I answer you, right?
You did.
So now you're replying my answer.
Yes, I am.
That's not fair.
Of course it
I have
is.
a question for you.
Oh, yes, I will deal with your questions
No,
once
no,
we've
no,
talked
no,
about
no,
mine.
No, that's not fair.
Okay, well let's
Now I have
do
a
a round.
question.
Yes,
Now
well
I have
let's
a
do a round
question.
of yours and then
Right?
we'll come back to my
No,
topic.
No, I did not.
Yes,
run.
yes.
You're welcome to say yes.
And you're welcome to say no.
Yes, thank you. Now, the answer of this, that this was a supposition. It's talking about the obedient of the Prophet. I came to say to you that God followed Jesus, while the Bible you're carrying, it says to me that Jesus is cursed. So if I want to become a Christian,
Yep.
then I should be believing that Jesus is cursed.
Okay, so let me
This is
answer that
insult to
question.
Jesus or not?
Let me answer that question.
Go ahead.
Let me answer that question. Firstly, it is not an insult to Jesus. And the reason why it is not an insult to Jesus is because Jesus himself said that no one takes my life from me. I lay my life down freely and I will take it up again. The curse that Christ receives onto himself, he takes onto himself in our stead. Stop being rude. You asked a question. No. You asked a question. Allow me to
How
answer.
come you say it's not
No. I'm going to
insult
answer
say
my
Jesus
question. I'm going to
cursed?
answer the question.
Jesus
I'm going
cursed
to
is
answer the
not
question.
insult.
I'm going to answer the
Not making-
question.
okay, go ahead.
You have to show the manners, remember? Yeah, you know the ones you were saying that I had to
Go
show?
ahead, come on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
in answer to the question,
Yes.
yes, Christ took upon a curse upon himself in his humanity.
So he's cursed.
And why
So the-
did he take that curse upon himself?
Someone said
So that he can save us. That is not an insult. That is the glory of our Lord Jesus Christ.
How come?
Now
who
I've
is the-
answered your question.
You said Jesus is cursed.
Now I've answered
Who's
your
the cursor?
question.
Who is the cursor
Now
of
I've-
Jesus?
now I've answered
Who
your
is the
question.
cursor of Jesus?
So now I've
is
answered
cursed.
your
Who
question.
is the cursor
I'll
of
address
Jesus?
your question next.
Who is the cursor
When
of
you come
Jesus?
back, we're coming back to my question now.
Did you see now, guys?
No. You change the topic.
Jesus say yes.
No,
Jesus is
you
cursed.
change the topic.
Mal'oon.
So
Jesus is mal'oon.
his answer
To you.
when he said, right, so let's have a conversation, not a shouting match. Let's have a conversation, not a shouting match. So building on the answer that you gave me, You said that the conditional Son of Allah would have no qualities worthy of worship.
Return it to your question and
Right?
answer it.
No.
No.
It's a different
No, you return
question.
to the question.
It's a different question.
No, you're
Yes, I
returning to the
am.
question.
Because we're doing question
admitted
for
it. He
question.
admitted it.
Notice, he agreed to a time debate, and when we had a time
You
debate,
destroyed
he
your
ran
religion.
from the time
You
debate.
destroyed your religion.
Then we agreed
You
to do
destroyed
question
your
for
religion
question,
by saying
and now he's
Jesus
running
is
from
cursed.
question for
You
question.
are devastating
He
your religion
answered my
by
question,
saying Jesus
I
is
answered
cursed.
his question, and now it's my turn to ask him a question
no.
again. And he's frightened of the
debate is
question.
over.
And the reason why he's frightened of the question,
debate is over
and the
when you
reason
say-
why he's
when you say, yes,
grandstanding,
Jesus is
is
cursed.
because he knows the question that comes next condemns his God.
No.
So,
No.
I'll remind you, ladies and gentlemen.
Finish.
Right.
The debate is
So,
over. When it
he
comes to
says
saying
the
yes,
debate's over.
God is cursed.
It is over. He's running from the
is
debate.
over.
Would you like
He
to
said,
see him answer my
Jesus is
question?
cursed.
Would you like to see him answer the question about his Quran?
It's a false religion that says
So
Jesus is
answer
cursed.
the question.
We are Muslims. We are Muslims.
Why
Allowed to say
does
Jesus is
Allah
cursed.
command
We are
you
Muslims.
to worship
We don't
someone
allow- Do you
that
allow
would be
Jesus
unworthy of worship?
Jesus cursed.
Come and answer this question.
No. Is Jesus
Come ask her
cursed
this
or not?
question. He's frightened.
Yes or no?
He's frightened. Like all the Dawagandists here, he's frightened. Why not answer the question? Why not answer the
No,
question?
you don't answer the question.
I did answer your question.
Jesus cursed.
Stop doing
Yes.
the whole Dawa thing
Is
where we
Jesus
just
cursed?
argue about arguing. I want to ask you a question
Over.
only in your mind.
Jesus is Christ.
Do you want to hear him answer my question?
Jesus is cursed.
Are you tired of this noise grandstanding?
Jesus is cursed.
Right.
It's not a religion.
So here's the question he won't
Not a
answer.
religion. That is not a religion.
He
Say
said
that Jesus is
that
cursed.
Allah
Jesus is
would
cursed.
command you,
Jesus is
Muhammad, to worship
Shame on
someone
you.
unworthy
Say
of
yes.
worship if he had a son. That was his answer.
Listen.
He said
Shouter.
that the son
Hey.
would have
You said
nothing
before, don't shout.
worthy of
Now you're
worship.
shouting.
But he said
Don't shout.
that if Allah had a son, that the obedience to Allah would mean
be getting
that
next to
Muhammad
Jesus.
should worship the son.
If God ordered that, then I'll be the one to follow, because my task is to obey,
Yes.
to be obedient.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You're a liar, liar,
That
liar.
means
You're a liar, liar,
That
liar.
means
You're a liar, liar, liar.
triggered,
You're a liar,
Triggered.
liar.
triggered,
You're a liar, liar.
triggered.
Liar,
Triggered.
liar. You're a liar, liar.
Their arguments are bust,
Liar, liar.
and that's why they behave like this.
Liar, liar. You're a liar, liar, liar.
He said,
So, ladies and gentlemen, what he said was that Allah would command you to worship
shame on you.
something
Shame on
that is
you.
not worthy
Shame
of
on
worship.
You say Jesus is cursed.
And he is
Shame on
frightened.
you. Your religion is
So
false.
now,
Your religion
let
is
me
false. Your
declare
religion is false.
that Allah is a capricious and fickle God.
You are shameful.
Why does Allah,
To say yes.
why does
Jesus is
Allah,
cursed.
why does Allah,
Shame on you.
why does
You
Allah
say you love
come
Christ.
say
he's cursed.
that it would be worthy to worship
Shame on you.
someone unworthy of worship? Answer that
Shame
question.
on you.
Answer that question.
No more debate to me.
Answer
You know
that
why? You know
question.
why? Because
Answer
you
that
admitted-
question.
You admitted that Jesus is cursed.
Answer that
Shame on you
question.
and your religion. Your religion says Jesus is cursed. Is this religion?
Notice he runs
You
from
say
the
we love
question,
Jesus,
ladies
but
and
we should
gentlemen.
curse Jesus.
Because
Yes.
Islam is
on him.
intellectually bankrupt
He's saying-
and he can't defend his Quran.
You say we believe in Jesus. We love
Christians
Jesus.
are proud to say
Louder.
that Jesus
You are
Christ
louder.
received the curse on our behalf.
You say you destroyed your religion by saying
The
we
curse.
love Jesus.
The
We
curse
love
of
Jesus.
death.
How can I become a Muslim? How can I
Christ
become a
embraced
Christian?
us on his cross.
How
And we are
do I
proud
follow-
of that.
How do I follow?
We are not ashamed.
How do I follow your religion?
But shame on you.
Shame on you, the cursor of Jesus. You are the cursor of Jesus. Shame on you.
Liar!
The curse of Jesus, shame on you.
Liar!
Triggered!
Liar!
Triggered! Triggered! They've got no answer! They've got no answer!
Liar.
Jesus is Lord.
Jesus is Lord!
Praise the Lord!
Jesus is Lord!
Praise the Lord!
Jesus is Lord!
Praise the Lord!
Jesus is Lord!
And that Lord is good.
Jesus is Lord! Jesus is Lord!
Praise the Lord!
Jesus is Lord of the Kaaba! Jesus is Lord of Mecca! Jesus is Lord of Muhammad!
Jesus is Lord. Who's
He said Jesus is Lord! He said Jesus is Lord!
You're dumb. You're dumb.
No, you are dumb! You accuse God of being fickle! You accuse God of being fickle! You accuse God of being fickle! Shame on you for accusing God of being fickle! Shame on you for accusing God of being capricious! Your God is capricious and fickle! Sorry, I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Calling your God cursed, just like
I can't hear you over these
No,
guys.
you say it. No, you
can't
say
hear
it.
it.
You said.
I can't hear you over
You
these
said
guys.
Jesus is cursed.
I can't hear you over these guys.
Jesus is
I can't
cursed.
hear you over these guys.
Jesus is cursed, just
I
like
still
Satan.
can't argue.
You're running
Right.
away. He's
So
running
what he
away.
said-
No, I did not say that.
What he said
Liar.
was that Allah was capricious and fickle.
Yeah, but is Jesus
Do you know
cursed
what
like Satan?
capricious and fickle means?
Shame on
Is Jesus
you.
cursed like
Shame on
Satan?
you.
Do you know what capricious and fickle mean?
I don't
Yes or not?
No.
Cursed or
No.
not?
Let's do a question for a question.
I put your
Let's do a question for a question.
Satan's
I
cursed.
troubled
The
your
curse that
religion.
Satan
I
has is a
troubled your
different
religion.
one than the one that Jesus
Saying
takes.
Jesus
So
is
Jesus is
cursed.
also cursed, yeah?
He
Yes
takes
or
on
no?
a different curse.
Yes or no? Thank you. That's another one. He says
So-
Jesus is cursed.
And he says Allah is capricious and fickle. His God is capricious and fickle.
Shame on
His
you.
God would command things unworthy of God,
You're
and
in
he
trouble.
admits it.
Your religion is
And he
trouble.
admits it.
Your religion is in trouble.
Grandstanding.
You said Jesus is Lord, but he is cursed.
You say that
Contradictory.
Allah would command the worship of a son unworthy of worship.
Contradictory.
That's what you said.
No.
That's what you said.
Opposition.
That's what you said.
If
That's what you said. That's what you said. That's what you said.
shouting now, you said before.
Oh, wait.
Remember the manners.
But you
don't
weren't
shout,
shouting.
And now you're shouting.
Were you not shouting earlier?
No.
Would you like to have a calm
Okay, don't
conversation?
contradict yourself.
So don't shout,
okay. You tell me
be
now.
calm,
Is Jesus
and here's
Lord?
what
Is
I would
Jesus- is
suggest.
Jesus Lord?
Listen,
Is Jesus Lord?
so that you can reflect some disciplines and some decorum in this conversation. What I would encourage you to
should
do
advise yourself
is
on
that when
first.
you make an agreement about something, that like a man, not like a child,
Like you,
but like
I
a
mean
man,
like you. So don't
that
be like
if you agree to
You're
something,
ordering me not to be
that
like
you
you.
stick to it.
You're ordering me not to
And
be
you
like
were
you.
the ones that broke the agreement and did not keep your word.
And you broke.
So here's
you
what I
broke the
suggest.
respect. You broke
Here's
the
what I
respect
suggest.
of
Oh, he's
Jesus.
shouting again. So let's go back
You
to
are
shouting
breaking
again.
The respect of Jesus.
So what he said
Jesus is
was that Allah was
mal'oon.
capricious.
Jesus is mal'oon.
That Allah would command
to you
the
is
worship of a
mal'oon.
son not worthy of worship. That's what he said.
No.
That's what he said.
I say.
Let me remind him
Allah said.
what he said. Oh wait.
Shouting, keep
Oh,
shouting,
shall we
keep shouting.
talk? Would you like to talk?
No, don't. No.
Should we-
no.
would you like to talk,
No. I
or shall we
finished your
shout?
religion. I finished your
No,
religion.
not at all.
No one who respects
Simply
Jesus.
pointing
will say
out-
he's cursed. No one. No
Simply
one.
pointing
no
out
one who respects Jesus.
What we
will say that
believe
Jesus is
is
cursed.
not a
This is
disproof
your religion.
of what we
Shame on
believe.
you.
Shame on you
Jesus is cursed in
for
your
saying
religion.
God is capricious and fickle. Shame on you
Look.
for saying
if I
that
say
God would
that-
command
if I say
that
that-
which is unworthy
if
of
I say
God.
that- if I-
And that's what he said. Let's go over what he said.
Let's go
I
back to
asked
what
him-
he said. He
I
said
asked
Jesus
him-
is cursed.
He would
I
like
am
a
Christian.
shouting match.
I am Christian and Jesus
So,
is cursed.
Let's
Yes
go
or
over
no?
what he said.
Yes or no? Jesus
What he
cursed or
said
not?
was that
Look,
there
look.
is no quality
Jesus-
that a son of Allah could have that would be worthy of worship.
No.
But he also said that if Allah had a son, that you should worship that son purely based on the command of Allah.
If God ordered that, then I'll be the one to follow, because my task is to obey,
Yes.
to be obedient.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Now you're lying. Why is lying
Why?
the place that your heart goes to when
Why?
you do
Do you know
dawah?
what's in my heart?
Yes, you're a liar. You're lying
you-
right
so
now.
you know the answer.
You're a liar
So
and
you
you're
know.
lying right now. Yes, I am certain you're lying right now.
You know what's in my
Yes,
heart.
I am certain you're lying
liar.
right now.
Now you're a liar.
Yes,
Now
I'm
you're a
certain
liar.
you're a
When
liar
you say,
right now.
I know what's in your heart.
I am
you're a liar.
certain. No, I'm not saying I know. I'm saying I'm certain.
hell.
Those are not the
You are
same
cursed.
thing.
You are cursed.
Those are not the same thing.
you cursed
Let
tonight?
God be the judge
Are you-
between
are
us
you
who's
cursed?
speaking.
Are you cursed or
So,
not?
ladies and
Accept me to
gentlemen.
say- shall I-
So, oh
do
wait,
you
wait.
accept
Are
me
you
to say-
wanting a conversation
Do you
now?
accept- do you
Are you
accept
wanting
me-
a conversation
do you
now?
accept me to say
Are you
that-
wanting a conversation now? Are you wanting a conversation
Keep
now?
shouting, yalla.
Right.
Whoa, whoa,
So, ladies and gentlemen,
Shame on
when
you.
it suits him,
that's your
he
behavior.
wants a conversation.
Is God-
But when it doesn't suit him, he doesn't want a conversation. So here's my proposal. Here's my proposal.
Here's
We
my
give him
proposal.
3 minutes to talk
say yes.
without my interruption.
No.
And then he gives me 3 minutes to talk without interruption. Is that fair?
Yeah,
Would you agree to that?
That's fair. Uncle.
You see, he wasn't even listening. I'll say it again. Would you agree that we give each one another 3 minutes to talk without interruption?
Okay.
Right, now this is the second time that he's agreed to this.
Just go to hell. Go to hell.
Yeah, second time
I
he's
said
agreed
to
to
you,
this.
yes.
You're on camera.
Yes,
We've
I'm saying
got you
yes, go
on
ahead.
camera.
Go ahead, I'm ready.
Right,
Yes.
okay. So could we pull up someone to time, please? And both people need to be able to see the clock, please. So have you got someone who's willing to time it? Can you not time it? Yeah, so long as he doesn't shout and interrupt.
But look, you lost your voice though. You're the one that lost his voice.
That's okay, that's fine. Right, so you're going to time. Would you like the first 3 minutes or the second 3 minutes?
No, the uncle. No, give the uncle. The uncle.
Okay.
Give the uncle.
Okay, we're going to give the uncle 3 minutes of uninterrupted conversation. Over to you.
Nobody interrupt.
3, 2, 1.
Go.
Go, uncle.
You go first. You go first.
Go. It's time. Go.
Let him talk
Okay,
Let him talk.
time.
So I'll speak.
for 3 minutes.
Start again.
First, my question is,
Start again.
you believe that Jesus is God?
Start again.
If you
No, do not start again.
Sorry.
Don't let him dictate. Don't start
Fair
again.
enough. Okay.
Don't dictate him. Let him start his time again.
No,
No.
you, Sam,
Allah-
you're interrupting.
Wasting
Sam's literally interrupting his own sheikh.
I
never know him.
His time.
So you need to encourage him to stop. Sam can't control himself. Sam's interrupting.
I'm not
No,
starting again.
no,
I'm
do not start
I'm
again.
not
Debate then.
starting
There is
again.
no debate again.
This is your
I'm
time,
not
please.
There is
restarting.
no debate.
Don't let him interrupt you.
He cheated in the time.
No, he didn't.
No, I didn't. I turned it on.
Do not stop the time.
Start again.
Okay. Now, the most important topic is about the disagreement between us and you.
Okay.
Now, you believe that Jesus is God,
Yeah.
and I believe that Jesus is not. He's a human being.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you say you deny that Jesus. You agreed that Jesus is cursed. You said yes, he is cursed. So the point I made is that I cannot come to your religion. If I want to come to your religion, I cannot, because your religion forced me to say Jesus is cursed. Who cursed him? God. But he is God. So does God curse himself? So how you expect me to come to your religion while your religion says that Jesus is cursed? To us, this is a great insult against Jesus to say that he is cursed. I give you my time.
Okay. Fine. So, how much time has he got left?
Minute and 10 seconds.
Okay.
thank you.
Now, because Sam interrupted him, I'm only going to use a minute of his time, and out of politeness and fairness to my elder, I'm then going to give him another 3 minutes. Christians do believe that Jesus Christ was cursed. We don't believe that God the Father cursed him. What we do believe is that Christ took upon himself the reality of what it is to be outside of the blessings of God for us. He took upon himself the mortality that comes with sin. And Christ takes this upon himself, and that is what we believe. For us, we are not ashamed of this as Christians. We are proud of this. However, he says that he can't become a Christian because he thinks that's an insult to Jesus. It's only an insult to Jesus if Jesus doesn't freely choose to accept it and to bring it on himself. Final point, I'll take a few more seconds. I'm not cheating the sheikh in any way because I'm supposed to have 3 minutes of my own. However, I want to return the retort and say to him, the sheikh, that I could never become follow a religion that believes in a fickle and capricious God. And by the sheikh's earlier answers to my question, I didn't interrupt you. I did not interrupt you. Let me speak. Let me speak without interruption. Please control yourself. I do not and cannot believe that God is fickle and capricious. And the sheikh admits that he doesn't know what fickle is, and he doesn't know what capricious is. And that's why he doesn't know that he described Allah as fickle and capricious. Now, how much time do I have?
I didn't put the time.
Okay, I'm going to stop now because I said that I would give the sheikh 3 minutes and then I will take a full 3 minutes afterwards. So this is your 3 minutes. I won't interrupt. Sam, please don't interrupt. Let the guy speak for himself. Go on.
Okay, started.
I need explanation to the word fickle and capricious. I don't know what it means.
Okay. Capricious and fickle means when someone does something, does whatever they want and they don't follow any principles.
And we mentioned that in the Quran, that he's fickle and capricious.
Do you want me to speak?
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, in answer to my earlier questions, I laid out for you an example of a principle, and you said that there was no principle behind it and Allah merely commands it and therefore you should obey Allah's command, thus describing his commands as capricious and fickle.
Dictator.
It's not, well, I mean, a dictator can be capricious and fickle, but some dictators can actually be very principled.
Okay. I'll try to deal with it, but it's the first time I hear these two words. Believe me.
Fair enough.
Now, what I believe, that the debate is over when we talk about the curse of Jesus. Is it justified for Jesus in your religion to be cursed or not? It's shameful. I mean, it should be naturally respectful. Yani. We should be naturally respectful to Jesus. Not saying he's cursed. That disproves your religion. Nobody respects Jesus and agree to justify that this God is cursed. Now the question is the Father also cursed? Because the three are one. So is the Father also cursed by the cursing of Jesus? The three are one. If Jesus is cursed, that means the Father is cursed as well, because the three are one. So the Holy Spirit is also cursed, because the three are one. So once one of them is cursed, the three are cursed. I give you my time.
Right, I'm going to use a full 3 minutes this time.
Please, go ahead.
Okay.
Ready?
Started.
Right. So you all heard the good man, and I'm sorry I don't know your name. The good man stated that he didn't know what capricious and fickle was, that he'd never heard these words before. So that admits that he's arguing from a position of ignorance about something that he didn't understand when he denied that Allah was capricious and fickle. Because how can you say that Allah isn't capricious and fickle if you don't even know what capricious and fickle is? For all he knew at the time, capricious and fickle could have been a compliment. But the reality is, if a man does something unprincipled, purely because he has the power to do it, he is capricious and fickle. I quoted to the good man a verse from his own Quran that said that if Allah had a son, Muhammad would be the first to worship that son. And I asked the good man, what quality does the son have worthy of worship? And the good man said, no quality, but Muhammad should worship him simply because Allah commands it. So if Allah commands worship of someone, even conditionally, hypothetically, that does not have the qualities worthy of worship, then Allah's commands are capricious and fickle. He is simply someone who does what he wants with no principles. The only reason, hypothetically, that a son would be worthy of worship is because he must have some quality worthy of worship that he went to deny. Now, to answer his argument about the curse, simply pointing out what Christians believe about our faith does not disprove our faith. We believe Christ was a curse for us. Pointing that out to us does not disprove our religion. I simply reject his characterization. The truth is that a person should stand on the truth wherever that truth is. And if Allah embraces, if Christ takes the curse for us and that's the truth, then those that love Christ follow him into that truth. That's what a loving person does. They follow the truth. How much time do I have? 30 more seconds. Now he went on to say, well, since Father, Son and Holy Spirit are one, does that mean that the Father is also cursed? Not at all. Christians believe that Jesus Christ is cursed in his humanity, not in his divinity. If you're going to make an argument about Christianity, at least understand it. Now, let me ask you one question. If Allah commands the worship, hypothetically, of a son that he hypothetically has, that has no quality of worship, why? I had to stop time. 3 minutes.
This is dictatorship with nonsense answer given. He says, yes, Jesus is cursed, only himself. People will not be convinced by that answer. If the three are one, the three are cursed. If the three are one, the three should be dying when the son died. So you are proving practically with every justification you give that the three are three and that you're pagans and you believe. That's why you say no one can go to the first except through the second. So you have two personalities. So Jesus is the way to God. How come the way to God be God itself? You're confusing people. That's why people, they confess by saying, we do not understand that Trinity. It is contradictory, not Trinity. It's contradictory. So the three are not one. And you do not give any convincing answer why Jesus is cursed. Why? Because he was put on the cross? Because he is lifting up the sins of people? Well, he said to the people, my dear, I'm going back and I'm going to take those sinners and throw them in the furnace of hell. So where is the redemption that caused Jesus to be cursed? This is contradiction. So by that, the debate is over. He did not give any convincing answer as to why Jesus is cursed. But every man who respects Jesus will never be accepting for any, by no means, that Jesus
Time,
is
focus.
cursed.
Wait,
How many?
you've still got a minute.
6.
I still have a minute. Okay.
5, 6.
Now, you say that Jesus is God and he died. How come Jesus died? How come Jesus the God died? When you say that, yes, Jesus is the Son of God, is he God himself or not? If you say Jesus the man died, that means a part of God is imperfect, weak, can be overcome by people. What kind of God you're inviting us to? Can you tell your child when you show Jesus being on the cross like this, naked except a part of him, would you be accepting that kind of God? So whenever you talk about Jesus, you're talking about three, but when you want to justify the Trinity, you say the three are one. How come the Son is cursed apart from the Father, since they, the three, are one? So he did not give any answer to this.
Done.
Right, time.
3 more.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, simply declaring a debate to be finished isn't how you win a debate. That's just rhetoric. The way you win a debate is by answering your opponent's questions and by dealing with their arguments. But in the full 3 minutes that the good man spoke, did any of you hear any responder to my argument against the Quran, against Allah being fickle or capricious? Did you hear any responder to me pointing out that the good man doesn't even know what fickle and capricious was? You heard no responder to those arguments at all. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you lose a debate. Allah, by saying that he would command the worship of a son that has no qualities worthy of worship, demonstrates that he is a capricious and fickle God. That is what he is charged with, and the Sheikh, I believe he's a Sheikh, has offered no answer to the argument. But let me explain to you how Jesus was cursed for the law. It says in verse 13, Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law, having become a curse for us, for it is written, cursed is everyone who hangs on a tree. Now, we Christians love Christ. It's undeniable to anyone who spends time with Christians. We are not ashamed of this teaching, and it is nothing to be ashamed about. Let me try to explain what we mean by Christ taking the curse upon himself through a picture analogy. Imagine someone walking across a road and they're about to be hit by a truck, and then you run into the road, push them out of the way, and in so doing receive the hit of the truck yourself. You chose to do it. It was an honorable act, and that is what we see Christ as doing when he becomes for us the curse of the law. Because the law demonstrates to us that sin is active in our lives, because we fail to keep God's laws all the time. And thus, because we are rebels against God, we are worthy of death. But the love of God is such that even though you are sinners and dead in your sin, Christ offers you forgiveness for no cost by taking the curse of the law onto himself. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want the good Sheikh not to try and change the subject. I would like him to answer the question. Okay, I'm out of time.
Why do you want to get back to the same question? While I answered it, now, listen. See, he keeps circling around the same issue. He doesn't want to go away from. Why? Check it. Okay, my 3 minutes.
Yeah, you got 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
I didn't know that you're starting.
He did tell you.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Would you like another tissue? I have clean.
This is chocolate, by the way. This is chocolate. Okay. Should we start?
No, this is your time.
That's my time now?
Yes, he told you.
Okay. He said that I believe that God is fickle. No. The conditions about God, we have 3 conditions. That he is perfect in will, perfect in knowledge, perfect in power. 3. And you break these 3 conditions about God. You say that he can be cursed, he dies, he's weak, okay? And he's ignorant. He says that Jesus is God, but Jesus also is ignorant. Who says that? The Bible. The Bible says that Jesus is ignorant. If you talk about the body of Jesus is different, but he is God, by the way. But only there's a human body.
Is it still timed?
Tell me about the ignorance of Jesus. You say he's God, and God should be perfectly knowledgeable. Is that right? There's no denial about that. No one will be disagreeing that any God should be perfect in knowledge. But we see the Bible saying that Jesus said regarding the final hour, nobody knows when it will occur. Nobody knows when it will occur. Neither the angels nor the Son, but the Father alone. I hope you don't keep saying to me that Jesus is God, but at the same time, there's difference between him and God in terms of knowledge. He has no knowledge about when the final hour will occur, but his Father knows. So Jesus is not God. So Jesus is not God. How many minutes?
26 seconds.
Take them.
Okay, so he's offered me his 26 seconds. Did any of you hear him reply to my argument? Did any of you hear him respond to my... He's interrupting. He's interrupting. No, he's interrupting. He's interrupting. He's interrupting. Bro, it's okay. Right. So, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Why are you interrupting? Calm down, Sheikh. This is not becoming of a teacher. This is not becoming of a sheikh. Why must I teach you manners when you have grey hair? Seriously, why must I teach a man with grey hair manners? So, ladies and gentlemen, notice I have to raise my voice. Notice how much time that they have used up of mine. Did any of you hear him respond to my argument? I say shame on the Muslims and shame on Muhammad for teaching a capricious and fickle. Notice he's triggered. Notice he's triggered. Notice he's triggered. Is this the behavior of a sheikh? No, ladies and gentlemen, they teach. Notice how they're misbehaving. They're losing the debate, and that's why they're behaving like this. They're losing the debate.
Don't say the word.
Stop my time over. Stop my time.
Listen.
No, stop running. Stop running. Stop running. Stop running. Stop running. Stop running. Stop running, Sheikh. You should do better. You should do better. It's your mother that... I wouldn't insult your mother. I wouldn't insult your mother.
You're insulting my
I wouldn't insult your
mother. It's more
mother.
important than my mother.
I say shame on your prophet for insulting Allah, for insulting God. That's what you do. Now notice, he thinks it's okay to say that Christians insult Jesus. But he says it's not okay for me to point out that Muhammad insults Allah. It wasn't me that taught Allah as a capricious and fickle God. It was Muhammad. It wasn't me that taught Allah was a capricious and fickle God. It was the Sheikh.
I don't insult
And the
you.
Sheikh, whose mother didn't teach him any manners.
Nothing.
His mother that didn't teach him about not interrupting.
Did your mother?
His mother that didn't teach him about keeping his word.
Did your mother teach you
His
to
mother
curse Jesus?
that taught
Did your
him
mother
to call other mothers
Did your mother
son
teach you
of a
to curse
bitch.
Jesus? Did your mother
That's
teach
what
you to
his
curse
mother
Jesus?
taught
Shame
him.
on you. Your
He
mother,
fails.
his mother
And the
taught him.
reason why he
His mother taught
fails
him to curse
is
Jesus.
because Muhammad has failed him. Muhammad has failed him. He's run from the debate.
Your religion
You
failed
have
you.
run
Your religion
from
failed you.
the debate. He has run from the debate.
Listen.
Did you hear a defense of my argument against the Quran?
Yes,
Put your hand up if you heard him answer my question.
You said,
No one. Not even the Muslims raised their hands. No
Even
one.
the Muslims.
Not even the Muslims raised their hands.
why do you speak
No one's running away
to
from
me,
you.
speak to me.
Let's talk then.
Okay.
So,
He said,
now
"Don't insult
let's
you." He said,
answer
"I
the
insult you."
question.
But I insult
Why
Jesus.
did Muhammad teach that? Don't push. Don't push. Don't push. Don't push.
Keep your hand.
Hey, back up. Calm down! You're just a mob when you lose the debate. Cowards! 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 Okay, sir. Hey, back off! Back off! Back off! Control yourself! Control yourself! Look at you! You're just a mob when you lose the debate! You're just a mob when you lose the debate! That's all you are!
We don't want to start anything more. Just relax.
You're a mob because you lost the debate!
It's not worth it.
Utter cowards!
Okay,
Intellectually beaten!
come on. Okay, well done if you won the argument. We don't want to flip and lose. It'd be right to come down here and people who are different from themselves.
Ganging up one man like a mob!
Police here, go.
No, I've got nothing to run from.
Yes, I know that they're going to happen now. Statement from everyone.
Yeah, religion of seriously, such a Hey Bob, Bob, listen. That's an example of the religion of peace right there.
You saw, ladies and gentlemen, let's be clear about what you saw. The Muslims lost the debate about their own religion, and because they lost the debate, they turned to mob violence. No one, the first person that laid the hand on the other was the Muslim, and then they attacked us. And they're doing it because we've beaten their arguments, we've proven their religion to be false, and they don't have any answers to what we say. They look for tourists and ignorant people. The violence that you used shows that you were beaten, shows that you were beaten in argument. And like cowards, like utter low-life cowards, you'd be set on people in a mob. And we've got Muslims laughing at it.
Hold up, stay. Hold up, give me some camera. Let me tell you this. Let me say this today. You Muslims.
I was debating a sheikh.
I know.
Exactly.
And it's just Christian that's trying to make you get your mask and worship your Allah in this country. You need to fix up on your behavior. You hear me tell you now? You cannot do.
Bring him, he'll run. Bring him, he'll run. And that's what we're up against, people. That is what we're up against. We're up against thugs like this guy in the mask who kicked me when I was on the floor. In fact, let's go get the police.
He's proud of it.
Yeah.
Go be proud in front of the police.
Sorry. Excuse me?
Yeah, I know. I've had about 3 people come up to us.
Well, I was assaulted, and I would like to show you who assaulted me, please.
Okay, what did they do to you?
They kicked me while I was on the floor. So can you follow me?
The guy, yeah, I went up to him.
They'll run away. It's that man in the blue shirt and the mask. You'll see him, he comes every week.
Speak to him. Where did he kick you?
He kicked me while I was on the floor. Yeah, he's running away. He's walking away. I've told you he is. And notice, I pointed out who assaulted me. The guy's running away and the police officer is literally letting him walk out of the park. Literally letting him walk out of the park. And the police didn't even bother to give chase.
Where's the uncle?
He's not even running. The police are making no attempt to apprehend him whatsoever. And that's my point, brothers and sisters. You have to recognize the state is not interested in protecting us. And so we must learn to protect ourselves. I pointed out one of the guys that kicked me while I was on the floor. I reported it to the police officer. I pointed it out to the police officer, and the police officer literally let him walk out of run, gentle jog actually, because that guy can't run to save his life. But the police officer did not give chase. And that's the point. That's the point. When are you going to wake up and realize that these Islamist trash that are in this park, these Islamist scum that call it jihad, like this boy is here, calling it jihad, these trash are not going to be controlled by the police. They are not going to be.
The old guy with the crutch, repeatedly with the crutch in the air, swinging down on people, repeatedly.
Right, so let's see when the officer comes back, whether he will arrest the sheikh. Let's see if he does that. Oh, surprise, surprise, they're coming back having not apprehended him at all.
Question, can you describe what has just happened?
So basically, a sheikh lost the debate. He got violent. He got violent. He got violent. Hey, yo, see how triggered? Triggered.
You winded him up. It's a lie. It's a lie. You shouldn't
come here. You can be wound up.
You not a lie. It's a lie. No, I agree. But
why are you saying but he told lies? What's the relevance?
The Muslims tell lies.
Okay, officer. So, officer, I can
just come back to the car with us.
Well, no, with respect, officer.
Yeah.
You let that guy walk out of the park.
I didn't know what was going on.
I'm going to point out.
You talked to my colleague.
This officer let that guy walk out of this park.
Come over here, please.
Can I just?
Your report, rather than stand
No, wait, because there are other people that assaulted me and others in this park that I can point out to you, and I'd like you to arrest them.
Why don't we go and stand over there?
It's not. Nothing's going to happen, guys. He's not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything.
Shouting at me and trying to play up to cameras. Why don't we act like adults and come over here and talk like gentlemen?
Well,
shouting at me and playing up to cameras here like you guys always do at Speaks Corner every single week. 3 years I've been here, we have this every
Were you assaulted?
Every single weekend. I get pushed and shoved all the time. I get told it's part of my job.
Right.
From people like yourselves.
Not me. I've never pushed
Not
a
you
police
personally.
officer.
Never said you have.
Okay.
But I'm just telling you that that is reality. In the between you coming up and saying you've been kicked in the shin, where have you been kicked?
I got kicked. I got punched.
Where have you been kicked?
I got kicked on the butt.
Right.
Right. When I was down on the hill, we've got it all on camera. You'll see. Right. There are a number of people that assaulted people in this park. There's other Christians that have been assaulted in this park. We can point out the people that did the assault. I would like you to make the arrest.
Okay.
Would you be willing to do
don't tell me
that?
how I arrest people. You don't arrest me to do that. First, I'm going to take your account. At the moment,
Okay.
we've had a severe stabbing and a fight that's happened over the road. So obviously, we're being distracted by more serious assaults than being kicked in the shin. And I'm not belittling.
That's fair enough.
I'm not belittling that. But obviously, at the time that we've had about half a dozen people come up and shout in our ears about being pushed, we've had a gentleman that's very severely injured, and they need a helicopter landing for someone that's been stabbed.
Right.
So that's why we're slightly distracted. So I wasn't going to go running off into the street to wherever he's gone to, whilst I'm still trying to see whether we're needed elsewhere. Do you appreciate that?
I appreciate
I'm not
that.
belittling that you've been assaulted at all.
I
because
feel
it's still an assault.
It is an assault, yeah.
And I'll take your details and we'll put that on. But we don't just go around and nick people or arrest people willy-nilly if it can be dealt with other ways.
So what you're telling
Arrest
me?
is not just a simple, clear-cut, it happens.
Yeah.
If we're going to arrest somebody, we need to take a statement from you now. We need to gather all the evidence now, which we can do, but that means you're going to be coming to the station with me so I can take out a statement properly.
Well, with respect, officer, I saw how you walked after pointed at me who assaulted me the first time. I don't believe, you do not have my confidence that this is something that you'll pursue with any vigour. And
I will take your report and I will investigate it.
And in my experience, from what I just saw, when I pointed out to you the guy that kicked me while I was on the floor, and I pointed out to you, that guy could not outrun you, and you let him get out of the park. You strolled after him when he was doing nothing but a little jog, and I'm sure, from looking at you and looking at him, you could have easily caught the guy.
You can't make that assumption about me.
Well, I'm wrong. I am making that assumption. And I may be wrong, maybe there is an injury I don't know about that stops you from running. But you could have caught that guy and you decided not to. And so for that reason, there's no point wasting my time putting in a report because you won't do anything.
Well, that's your prerogative, but I'm willing to take details now. Details for a report.
Like I say,
If you'd like me to do that,
I
then I'll
pointed
do
out the
that.
guy that assaulted me and you let him walk out the park. So what confidence can I have in you now?
What, do you want me to take the report?
There
now?
is no point. You won't do anything about it.
Well, I will take the report and I'll investigate.
Yeah, he'll
it.
take a report, you'll put it on a stat, and that'll be the end of it. And if we pointed out to you the people that used a weapon and hit people with a stick.
Did he hit you? Did they hit you?
Come on! He did not hit me personally.
So if people come to us and they say he hit me with a stick,
Yeah.
then I will deal with those two people.
Yeah, right. So I can bring you to people that were otherwise assaulted far worse than I.
Today?
Yes, just now in the same assault in which I was assaulted, there were multiple Christians in this park attacked. One of them was beat upon by 5 people. And I can identify some of those
Tell them
people.
to come here and I'll
Right,
speak to them.
I will do that.
I
and then-
will take your details and put the report if you want me to. If you don't want to, then I won't. If you want me to, then I will.
You don't have my confidence.
Well, that's up to you.
And for that, there's no point.
Well, that's up to you. But I'm willing to take the report.
I know you're willing to take the paperwork, but it does not fill me with confidence what I saw. It really doesn't.
What, because I go running blue ass
I
like
lit-
a blue ass
He was hardly blue-arsed. The guy...
He was off.
I the whole thing. I think you could have caught him.
Well, that's your assumption.
That is my assumption, yes. That is my assumption.
That's
I
your
think you could have
assumption.
caught him. And you let him all but jog out of this park.
I didn't let him all but jog out, but I'm not going to be belittled and I'm not going to be spoken
I'm
to
not
about
trying
how
to-
I run
I'm-
after
I'm
people.
not trying to
if
belittle
I'm
you.
capable of running after somebody. I'm willing to take the report and investigate the assault if you want to. If you don't want to, then that's
This
entirely
brother.
up to you.
So this brother was assaulted by several gentlemen in this park, one of whom I could probably identify
Can
to
he
you.
identify me? Can you identify me? Because you're the
He was
victim.
crouching.
Go!